The Fall Points update is here, and with it come a number of changes to the game of Warhammer 40k. Let me take you through a rundown of every faction at a high level. These last months have seen a couple armies bully the tabletop, and so it's no surprise to see points increases across the board for both the Adeptus Sororitas and the Thousand Sons. Of note was a whopping 60-point increase on the Triumph of St. Catherine, and a number of targeted increases which take the Meta Sisters list to around 180 points over the limit. On the Thousand Sons side, we see increases across most of their characters and small rubric squads, pushing them to around 130 points increase. A bit of surprise was the attack on the Drukhari, who saw several increases on key units such as Archons, Incubi, and Mandrakes. On the other side of things, some factions have been really struggling and as such received a slew of points reductions, though they mostly consisted of small 5 to 10 point bumps across most units. Orcs saw a number of drops, especially on their Beast Dagger units, and Genestealer cults had all their battle line reduced, along with their bikes and small units of Aberrants. Space Marines saw a mixed bag, with decreases across their least played units, such as Invictors and Heavy Intercessors, but targeted increases to bespoke chapter units, such as Deathwing Knights for Primaris Crusaders and Thunderwolf Cavalry, which will take a big toll on those chapters who otherwise dominated the Space Marine lists. Of note for all Marines, however, was the increase to the Jump Pack Intercessors, Eradicators, and a big bump in the cost of the Apothecary Biologus and Fire Discipline package that we saw everywhere. To be honest, most of the other factions had pretty minor changes overall, with lots of targeted tweaks to help internal balance. Chaos Space Marines saw the larger squads of Cursed Occultists and accompanying Dark Commune go up 15 points each, while Abaddon actually dropped by the same. For Knights of both varieties, we saw minor points drops on the small Knights and about 15 to 20 points drops on the big ones. The Eldar technically benefited a ton, only seeing points reductions, but they were all on units that simply aren't seeing play or on squad sizes that are unpopular. Custodes saw just a few changes, with Trajan and all varieties of Contemptors getting cheaper, along with the Virtus Praetor jet bikes. For the Adeptus Mechanicus, their fantastic Vanguard and Trax units went up just a little bit, and several unplayed units dropped by, well, about the same. In Guardtown, the Bulgrin and Tank Commanders went up, and again, unplayed units such as Normal Ogrin and Heavy Weapons dropped. Shalaxia Hellbane finally drops 25 points, while the spammable Ren Master increases by 15. Interestingly enough, the Dread Knights did not increase in points, but the Paladins and Brotherhood Terminators went down. Death Guard players can rejoice as the Biologus and Death Shroud both get cheaper, and their poor Primarch drops 25 points to a flat 300. Votann were very neutral, with Jaegers increasing and Hearthguard decreasing, and Necrons had Hypercrypt units hit the hardest, including the small squads of Locust Destroyers, Monolith, and Death Marks. While oddly enough, the Doomsday Arc dropped in points. Tau took a bit of a bump for Riptides and the long overdue Piranha, although virtually all Kroot units got cheaper. Nids are almost not worth talking about, with minor 5 to 10 points adjustments on just a few units. And lastly, the World Eaters, whose Chaos Spawn, Master of Executions, and Angron all went up. Very curious on everyone's thoughts on these changes. For me, it's pretty neutral, but I'm skeptical how much it really affects those who were struggling.